Hi everyone, this is Editor Light. A couple quick things. Thank you for being patient. My life fell apart at the start of January and continued to train wreck through February into part of March. I'm back on the editing horse now. This is cool, feeling better, and in fact better than I ever have been. A small personal update. My pronouns are now she/it. Regarding the podcast, I've got 5 episodes to get through to catch us up. This one, 3 other normal ones, and the big tier list episode with bugs that's requiring a lot of heavy-duty visual editing. The plan is to release these episodes over the course of the next 2 weeks, the tier list video whenever it's done, and to get back to a truly regular upload schedule immediately after that. Before I let you go, I have one thing to apologize for in this episode, and the next one I fucked up. I recorded with my webcam microphone. I'll do what I can to make it not sound awful, but there is only so much I can do. For 2 episodes, I will sound bad. And then I will try to make sure this never happens again. That's it. Enjoy. Love y'all. Can't wait to be back at this on all cylinders.
Welcome back to Gaslight, Gatecrash, Girl Bite, the Magic the Gathering podcast for the girls, the gays, and the giant monster enjoyers. Happy holidays. My name is Light, they, she. I'm here with, as always, the lovely Medusa. Hi. Say hi. Say hi, everyone. There we go. Need to use a full sentence.
Hello, intrepid heroes.
Hello, intrepid heroes, and copyright strike.
I
We've immediately been defunded. We don't have any funds. Anyway.
I think they're chill enough not to do that to us, not to do it to us like that.
Brennan Lee Mulligan himself, please do not cancel us, because I'm sure that would be his responsibility.
Look, laws are just threats enforced by the dominant socioeconomic class. Anyway,
the police are basically.
The police are basically an occupying army.
An occupying army, yeah, that's it.
Anyway.
Okay. We're here to yap.
Seamless transition.
Seamless transition. You want to talk about some dinosaur media?
I would love to talk about some dinosaur media.
Okay. What is All Yesterdays?
So All Yesterdays, so I thought of this because of the holidays, because this book was a Christmas gift, not this past Christmas, but I believe the Christmas before that. It is a book that is written in part by Darren Naish, who has Naish. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but hopefully one of those is correct. He runs a blog that I am a longtime follower of called Tetrapod Zoology that everyone should go check out. Shout out to him. And this book is a speculative reconstruction and kind of analysis of dinosaurs from the lens of bones do not tell us everything, and so it's kind of looking at like behavior, speculative like body structures that may not show up in terms of like that may not be fossilized, things like I don't know, it's just like really good. It really like tries to portray dinosaurs in the light of being just like any other animal. This one here, I really love. They have a drawing in here of a Majungasaurus that is camouflaged to blend in with like the leaf litter in like what looks to be like a swampy forest floor.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like some of those very, kind of like some of those like Mengshan vipers, the like mossy colored vipers. And then there's also one of a plesiosaur.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they go into like a lot of like, the bones do not really show us how much of chonkers a lot of these animals would be. It's very cool. I really like this book. I really recommend, actually, Light, I'm really shocked that you haven't heard of the Tetrapod Zoology blog. You need to check that out. That is your jam.
I've written it down.
Perfect. And then one of my favorite sections in this book that you might have seen before because there are memes of it sometimes is All Today's, which is the end of the book, which is reconstructing modern animals like we often reconstruct prehistoric animals. So shrink wrapping animals, and like, misinterpreting skeletal structures. The hippopotamus one is truly terrifying.
Yeah.
As is the rhinoceros. Truly terrifying. The toad is hilarious. There's a lot of really funny ones. So it has like naked birds. So it has like they've interpreted swans.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
It looks like a spore creature.
It does. He's so flat.
Flat.
The swans, I think, is the one that I see meme the most because they are fully like naked and are depicted using their wing bones as like praying mantis, like spears to spear prey.
Jesus Christ, how horrifying.
Yeah, so it's just like showing how like a lot of assumptions that we make from skeletal structures may not be fully accurate. Especially based on like partial skeletal structures. But yeah, overall it's just a really good book. It's really, really well thought out, beautifully illustrated. There's a lot of like love and care and like, science that went into this. I don't think it's all that expensive to pick up either. So I have a copy that sits on my bookshelf right next to me. And I definitely recommend it. Not a sponsored podcast, by the way. But anyway.
It's a really cool book you should read.
Just a really cool book that you should go buy right now using this no, we don't have a discount code.
Discount code, please.
Discount code, please.
If we ever get the opportunity to be sponsored by somebody, I want our discount code to be please sponsor us.
I think that'd be a really fun discount code. Or just like monster fuckers with a Z.
It's one of the two.
Monster fuckers with several Z. Maybe like 3 Z's.
Maybe that can be our
one word, 3 Z's.
Flavor.
Yeah, GamerSubs flavor. Monster fuckers.
Although I think we're probably competing with a few VTubers at this point for that niche, but that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. And what is your paleo media? Of the episode.
I've been playing Jurassic World Evolution 3. It's fun. If you don't know what
you bought it,
I did.
Nice.
If you don't know what the Jurassic World Evolution series is, chat, it is. It's a park builder. That's really the easiest way.
Is Planet Zoo or Zoo Tycoon with dinosaurs?
But with dinosaurs, with the Jurassic Park franchise.
So better Zoo Tycoon.
Better Zoo Tycoon. I don't know
better
if I would
Planet
go
Zoo.
that far. Not well, let's not make any leaps of assumptions here. It's good. Jurassic World Evolution 3 is good. It is the best one of the series. However, that is partially because Jurassic World Evolution from Jurassic World Evolution 2 was not a huge jump. And the same can be said from 2 to 3. They have just basically made the same game, but improved it a little bit. Which, how much can I complain if it's more dinosaurs? I don't know. We could talk about price tags and if I'm getting my money's worth, and I don't want to have that discussion right now.
I feel like they do keep going deeper. From what I've seen, like some of the building options and like customization for buildings in JW3 is like really impressive.
For me, that is the biggest pull, is because
I think that is like the biggest.
Yeah, you're no longer limited to preset buildings, and like your fast food stand has to look like these 2 or 3 options. You can still use the presets, but you can now go in and build from the ground up using a much larger asset library, your own buildings. If you want to customize how your community center works, then or how it looks, you can do that. You can spend as much time as you want on it and the fine tuning. They also added a lot more terrain sculpting tools, which means that you can make cooler enclosures without breaking the game physics in order to create certain things, which is nice. Water physics are improved. The baby dinosaurs are a very cool feature.
Swimming dinosaurs as well, or at least some dinosaurs can swim.
Mm-hmm. Some dinosaurs can swim. Spinosaurus can swim. It's very cool. I like it.
Very good.
I'm enjoying it. It's good. I don't have a whole lot to say else about it except that it's fun and good, and I like.
I will say I'm still on the fence about it. Not because I think it's a bad game, actually quite the opposite, is that I have a backlog of games right now.
Yep.
Currently I am replaying through Skyrim. After Skyrim, my plan is to kind of go through the Elder Scrolls series, but kind of bookend them with other games, so I'm not burning myself out on it. Mm-hmm. So my plan currently is play Skyrim, which I am very close to completing. I'm over halfway through completing obviously I'm not going to 100% it, but I'm like halfway through. I wanted the character that I am playing to go through the main story, the Dragonborn story, the Dawnguard story, and the Skyrim Civil War. And once I complete those, I think I'm probably going to do Dawnguard next and then Civil War. Once I complete the Civil War quest line, then I'm going to bench that character and move on to a new game for a bit. I'm not currently doing like any faction quests with that character because, to be honest, I did not think that any of the faction quests in Skyrim are very strong. Especially compared to like some of the like quests that are attached to like just random dungeons that you'll find on the map. Like there's some really interesting dungeons that have like kind of bits of like storytelling to them or like quests attached to them that you can kind of just stumble into. Mm-hmm. And that kind of draws that, and like the main quests, I have a much larger appreciation for the main quests this time around, to be honest. And, like, those two things are more compelling to me than, like, going and getting a job. Yeah. That'll probably... I'm also kind of saving all my guilds and, like, factions energy for Oblivion, because Oblivion's faction quests are very well written and very good, and most of them are worth your time.
I can't speak to any experience with Oblivion, but I do remember the first time I played Skyrim being very impressed and enjoying a lot the faction quest subplots that developed through the game. And then retrospectively, as I played more video games in my life, in my adult life, I look back on Skyrim and think, you could have done a little more, I think.
Yeah, Skyrim is, I think, best enjoyed as like kind of a bit of a walking simulator. I enjoy it. There's a lot of beautiful things to look at. You can kind of just, walk around. I pretty much always manually travel up High Hrothgar, the 3 to 5 times the main quest requires you to do so. Yeah. It's quite fun. So my plan is after Skyrim, I'm going to go to I'm going to get the DLC and go through Cyberpunk 2077 and its DLC. That was a game that I started and never finished because they revamped a lot of systems for the better when I was halfway through it my first time through, and that kind of made me want to go back and start over, but I did not have the spoons to go back and start over at the time, so instead I did not finish the game. So now it's been like 2 years, so I'm gonna go back and finish that shit. And then after I do that, I'm gonna go to Oblivion Remastered. Unless Skyblivion releases in that time, in which case I am going to be on Skyblivion instead, because I guarantee it's going to be better.
What is Skyblivion?
Skyblivion is a modding project to port Oblivion over to the Skyrim engine, the updated Skyrim engine. It also is more of a remake than the remaster is still Oblivion under the hood, but it has like updated graphics and like physics and like some, technical improvements. The Skyblivion keeps the general feel of Oblivion and recreates all of the original content, but takes artistic liberties to make it better. Mm. So I believe it is adding NPCs and quests. It is totally overhauling a lot of the caves to make them more unique and less copy-paste. It is overhauling most of the overworld to make it more interesting to exist in. I know it is one of the big features that they have been teasing is that, so there's this fun thing in Oblivion where goblins will have wars, and it's like this little system that no one knows about. And so they took that and they massively expanded on it and like basically made the goblins almost like their own factions. So there are a bunch of unique goblin tribes in the game that like have politics with each other, which is super cool.
Hell yeah.
So basically, it's just like, taking it through the lens of like what it's more of like some of the I think maybe some of the Final Fantasy remakes than it is, or like when Pokemon, when they do like their remade games, like, like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or, any of like those ones where it's like the kind of a remaster remake of, like an older game. It's kind of more that philosophy. And then after that, I don't know what I'm going to play. It might very well be The Witcher 3. It might be something else from my backlog. It might be a new game. I haven't really checked. It might be Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. We'll see. To be honest, that game keeps calling me, even though I know it's like somewhat mid. It's just very, very me. So...
sometimes you can just enjoy a mid-game.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to avoid the Ubisoft open world games. I have not played very much Assassin's Creed. The most Assassin's Creed I played was mostly the Greek one, which is really good. I should honestly go back to that one at some point too. But I have not played like a whole lot of Ubisoft games, especially not recently. So like the Ubisoft formula that I think people are largely sick of, like doesn't really bother me. Like, oh, go liberate this settlement and it like change it. Like that doesn't really bother me because I haven't played through it 8 million times.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the last one I played was technically Far Cry 4. I played Far Cry 3. I played
Far Cry 3 is such a good... Far Cry 3 is such a good game. That is one of the few games that I finished multiple times.
Very good
I think I
game.
finished that one twice. I think I finished that one twice for each of the endings.
Yeah, I liked
so
that a lot.
good.
And then I tried to play Far Cry 4, and I played about an hour of it, and realized that I had played this game for 60 hours already, and never turned it back on.
Yeah. And then after whatever that other like kind of palette cleanser game is, I am going to put on my modding hat, and I'm going to get into Morrowind's, and specifically Morrowind's Tamriel Rebuilt, which is a huge modding project that is creating like all of Tamriel in the engine of Morrowind. And adding it, so like eventually that's going to be like all of Tamriel. It's going to be great. I think currently they have most of mainland Morrowind done, because if you've never played Morrowind, you don't actually play in like the entire province of Morrowind like you do in Oblivion for like Cyrodiil and Skyrim. You play on the island of Vardenfell, which is like a very large island. Morrowind kind of looks like a crescent moon, and then there's this big island. And you play on the island, but the mainland is never explored in that game, except in like one DLC, but you're limited to like one like city area only, so you don't really get to see very much of it. So they are recreating the entire mainland, and I think that they are also in collaboration with a project that is recreating a lot of Skyrim. And the cool thing about that project is that they are only limiting themselves to lore that was canon at the time. So anything that was retconned by Oblivion or Skyrim is not retconned in this. So like that vastly changes how Skyrim looks. I think there's a really big example is Karth Wastein is described as like this big bustling like trade center or like port. I think it's a port city maybe. And then in Skyrim itself proper, it's like a mining town with like literally 3 buildings. So they have like an entire city built out for it.
Wow.
And also I will probably, because I don't like doing a lot of modding. Modding is hard. If the option exists to play Skywind, which is Skyblivion, but for Morrowind, and looks even more incredible, to be honest, I will be playing that.
I guess stay tuned for more updates about Medusa's Walking Simulator 2026.
Yeah, basically. I'm gonna go live in fucking Tamriel, and then Night City, and then Tamriel, and then fucking something else, and then Tamriel again. Fucking love me some Elder Scrolls. Now that we've talked about video games for like 30 minutes, which, whew, that feels familiar for some reason. I can't place my finger on why.
Gaslight Gatecrash Gorbite is an original piece of content.
Original piece of content.
Right,
very original.
Talk about some Magic the Gathering. What do you have in the workshop right now?
Yeah, let's talk about Magic the Gathering. Dungeons and Dragons, which I alluded to like 50 million years ago, or did I? Did we ever air that episode? I don't even know.
I don't.
I've also
like you've been saying that Dungeons and Dragons is almost ready for an actual year.
It's almost ready. It's almost ready. GTA 6. God damn it, guys. We got Dungeons and Dragons before GTA 6. Or Elder Scrolls 6.
At the Game Awards, I'm going to...
They're not going to announce Elder Scrolls 6.
No,
we're getting The Witcher 4 before Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA 6, guaranteed.
I think we're getting the next God of War title. We're going back to video games. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, anyway. Oh, okay. So Dungeons and Dragons is a deck that is built around Karthus, and the Karthus, the 7/7 for 7 flying haste dragon dude, who takes control of all your dragons. And it's built around that and the venture into the dungeon and initiative mechanic, because I thought that those would be fun to work with, and Karthus is really good at taking the initiative, being a big, hasty beater that I think has trample? I should know what my commanders do.
I think it has trample. Flying trample.
No, he doesn't have trample. He just has flying and haste. That's okay. He's still an evasive 7/7. Mm-hmm. He has a line that says, gain control of all dragons, then untap all dragons, which is like surprisingly relevant in this format. There are a lot of changelings and a lot of dragons about. But I have the one synergy that exists with this, unless you want to untap your own dragons for some reason, which is probably valid, but I did not really go down that road. But I have the card Descent of Dragons in the deck. Mm-hmm. As like a big finishing move, which is basically rapid hybridization, but they get a 4/4 dragon creature with flying instead of a 3/3 wizard.
For 6 mana, it's a red sorcery that lets you destroy any number of creatures, and then all of the owners of those creatures make a red dragon for each of the creatures that die.
So you just kill it. You just rat the board, cast Karthus. They all have haste, and you win the game for like 13 mana.
I played a bad Descent of the Dragons standard deck when Theros was still standard, with like the guy who says heroic, take an extra turn, remove 5 counters. I don't remember how we got there, but the goal was to target a bunch of guys with Descent of the Dragons, in response, remove time counters, take an extra turn, and then swing with the dragons. It wasn't good, but I did it.
Yeah, you did it. So yeah, this deck is done. It is playable. I think my favorite card in this deck actually is well, I have a few favorite cards in this deck. One of them is Dragon Broodmother, which I finally get to play. I've been meaning to play this card forever. And none of my local game stores had a copy, so I had to print myself off a sweet-ass proxy using some Legends of Runeterra art. Original art, do not steal.
Original art from someone
It's like it's like an albino dragon.
Oh, that's right. It's one of like the original creatures that they made for that game.
Yeah.
Like a character name.
Yeah, it's literally, I think, like Dragon Brood Matron or something in the game. Yeah, close enough. Welcome back, Dragon Broodmother. And then it also gets to run my very, very special. Longtime viewers of the podcast may remember that I'm a Duel Masters aficionado who really wants my dragons with laser guns and cannons and Gatling guns in Magic the Gathering. Give us universes beyond fucking Duel Masters. Come on, you own the property. Anyway, I made proxies of Twin Flame Tyrant as the card Twin Cannon Sky Terror from that game. It looks so good. And, you know, one of those might find its way on your desk in 2 weeks. We'll see. But yeah, so I get to run that in here. I get to run, I don't know, there's like some other, like, this deck is very much a version 1. They're like just a bunch of incidental creatures that are like incidentally dragons that in like I like that Wandering Troubadour is a landfall venture card, although he only does it on your end step. But he's incidentally a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might play around more in an updated version of this deck once I test it out and see what's working and what isn't, with adding like some cards that care about like incidentally give you small benefits for like having dragons, or like tutor dragons, or do something, give you a little bit of extra juice for playing dragons. But yeah, this deck has not been played yet, but hopefully we'll change that pretty soon.
Hopefully.
Speaking of playing Jund, you've been playing some Jund recently.
I have been playing Jund. So
yeah, whatever. What happened to Jund, Light?
What happened to Jund? I had fun of Jund? Oh, we have no Jund.
Oh, no.
So I have been playing Jund Earthbending with Agnes, the Dragon's Lash, as the commander, because I was really into Earthbending. I still am really into Earthbending. Mechanics cool as hell. And I've been learning some things. The Jund Lands is still good, more at 11.
I do feel like the nail in the coffin for Jund on this was we were playing a game one of the times when you were testing like version like 5 of this deck. And I think it was with, I don't remember who else, but I think it was with like Benoit. And I remember him being like, there's a suspicious lack of Agnes on your battlefield for how late in the game it is. I think she got cast like once.
Yeah, she did get cast pretty shortly after that was said. And it was
basically,
I should probably cast my commander.
And it was basically just like a, she's there. She's moral support. Yeah. She's not really doing any. I think you had that pretty wrapped up at that point. But
yeah, so like originally I was doing Corval 2.0 off of your suggestion, and I came to the realization that Agnes was a cool option because the lands, when you earthbend them, they get haste, and Agnes cares when a creature with haste attacks, you make a treasure. Like, oh, that's a neat bit of synergy together.
Then we found
Jund Lands is better than anything Agnes can do. Jund Earthbending is better than anything Agnes can really do if you don't super duper duper care about making treasure tokens, which my deck doesn't really care about making treasure tokens. So it's really easy to just play the deck and not care about the commander. It could be anyone in there. So that kind of killed my excitement a little bit on like caring about Agnes, because I like it when my commander matters in an interesting way. So I continued tinkering with Jund, and then I don't remember why this idea came to me. It was late at night. It was after a stream, so it was like 11:30 or something. Benji and I had been talking about Earthbending because I played it on his stream. I came along the idea of playing, it's because of humans. I was thinking about humans. And I randomly thought of Henry Wu from the Jurassic World crossover mini set.
The one where they have to obscure his face in the art because the actor, for whatever reason, like they didn't get the rights to use BD Wong's face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think we've talked about on this podcast before, actually.
I think so. For some reason, they have the rights to all of the Jurassic Park characters, but not the likeness of the Jurassic World actors. Like, even Chris Pratt is, like, Owen Grady does not look like Chris Pratt. It looks like an approximation of them. It looks like Owen Grady, but it's not Chris Pratt. And then with BD Wong, it's just Henry Wu is backwards. You see the back of his sweater and his pants in a lab.
Oh wow, that really isn't Chris Pratt.
No, it's not.
Which, like, honest, that makes me like it a little bit more.
Yeah, you don't have to look at Chris Pratt.
To be real with you, I don't want to look at Chris. If I want some Chris Pratt, I'll just play fucking that one with Hellbent.
Yeah, that one. I can think of it.
Hellhole Rats.
There we go.
If I want some crisp rat, I'll just play Hellhole Rats from Dissension and make everyone discard a bunch of cards.
So I realized that a lot of the cards that say Earthbend on them are humans, and Henry Wu, I think it's InGen Geneticist is what his card name is. He's Sultai, so 3 mana for green, black, blue. I think he's a 1/4. Yeah, because he comes to 2/5 when he gets a counter. So he's a 1/4 human that has exploit and gives your other humans exploit. And whenever a human or a creature you control exploits a non-human creature, create a treasure. And then if that creature had power 3 or greater, draw a card. And those two things might be backwards. It might be you draw a card and make a treasure if it's big enough. Either way, the idea is that you're exploiting the dinosaurs. It's very cute, very flavorful. But the earthbending creatures, a lot of them are human.
There's nothing cute about animal cruelty, Light.
Sorry, there's nothing cute about animal cruelty. What was the last episode, Light? Editor Light, play the clip about the Gargaroth ivory extortion.
Surprised.
No, because I'm casting Valgavoth.
Oh, that's true.
And I'm killing the Elder Gargaroth because Gargaroth Ivory probably sells well on the secondary market.
You can't say that.
I'll grind it up into a vitality elixir.
So anyway, Medusa was canceled last week. I'm looking for a new podcast co-host.
Look.
And it only gets cuter.
You got me.
Case, I got you. It only gets cuter in this case, because this time we're exploiting the land for resources, because the humans earthbends lands into creatures, which are not humans, and they can get pretty big pretty quick. So you just play.
I think it'd be fun tying into me talking slightly about Frontiers of Pandora and the new Avatar movie that's coming out later this month. I think it'd be really fun to reskin that card. It works really well as Henry Wu, but if you're using it for earthbending, I think it'd be really fun to reskin that card as the asshole CEO from the first Avatar movie.
Do you want it to be the CEO, or do you want him to be the CO, or whatever his type, the general guy?
The general guy? Oh man, it could be the general guy.
I feel like
That's
it
fair.
has to be the general guy, because he's the only reccring. There's
I
only 2
love
recurring
the
human
general
characters. Jake
and neither of them are human anymore!
And neither of them are human anymore. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the second one.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the second movie. The movie that like outgrossed most of the Avengers movies and was seen by like billions of people and has been out for like 3 years. You know, if you haven't seen it, sorry.
Sorry. Whales are cool.
Whales are cool. Fuck you.
I like the Avatar movies. I think
we're gonna go on so many tangents.
I like the first one. I've always liked the first one. I thought it was a cool movie. I never thought a second time about it after watching it. Like, the only time I ever saw it referenced in media was like when Helldivers 2 was starting to get really popular. The default TikTok audio background for like sad edits of soldiers dying tragically was
the music. The music, yeah, the do-do-do-do. Yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing. Are you a veteran of Malevelon Creek? I'm a veteran of Malevelon Creek. Oh my gosh. I saw on my drive to work the other day, I saw someone who had like I experienced Malevelon Creek bumper sticker, and I gave him like a little Helldiver salute as I passed, but I'm not sure if they saw me. I'm not sure if they saw me do the Helldiver salute, but I gave them one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't played in a few months, but I have played a lot.
I haven't played in like a year, but it's such a good game. That's another one that I'd be down to play when we're through our Monster Hunter adventures.
Yeah, sure, I'd be down to go.
I think we can save the Monster Hunter tangent for another podcast.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, after
proxy
tangent number
Henry
8 million
died from Avatar. And
his
now
name is
we're
Colonel
here.
Miles Quaritch. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Anyway.
sure. Whatever.
Those movies
So,
lived in my head rent-free for most of my childhood.
and I tried this version of Sultai Earthbending out for the first time,
It was
and
so
the
gross.
engine purred. I instantly fell in
It
love,
was
which
gross.
means that the problem is I now. As for Jund, we have no Jund. We're back to the problem. I don't have a Jund deck, and I don't know how to solve this problem.
This is like a larger problem. I mean, we're gonna talk about it. I have like one more deck to get through, and then I think we're gonna kind of talk about this issue. But like, spoiler alert for our second topic of the video, like, I think there's this problem that, especially that I'm running into, is like someone who wants to have. I don't need to do a chromatic challenge, but I want to have a deck for every tricolor color combination.
Mm-hmm.
And after you exhaust the ones where it's like, you know, I end up with like Sharam. Okay, Sharam is my Esper one, of course, because I love Sharam. It was my first EDH deck. I've had it for 15 years. Sure, done, easy. Like Teval really grasped me, and that's the second deck that I'm going to talk about here. Like, you know, where like we saw the art for that card, I'm like, this is a beautiful work of art, and I don't care what the creature does. Man, those words came back to fucking bite me, didn't they?
Really
I don't care what the creature does. I will be playing this as one of my commanders. So like there, Sultai done. Bam. You know, we've got what are my other three color commanders?
I think that's generous, but yes.
There is a deck list.
That's true. There it is.
I'm currently in the process of acquiring all the cards for the deck list, but there's a deck list.
Okay.
I still need 16 cards to finish the deck. And like 2 of those I'm probably gonna proxy because they're expensive, and like the rest of them I'm gonna pick up when I get a chance to go to my other local game store, the one that I did not already plumb for Teval cards. So like Teval, fine. Most of my other ones are kind of like that, you know, like Marchesa. I've wanted a Mardu deck forever. I really like Queen Marchesa. I've had this cool Coven Lysandra proxy of her forever. I actually had Marchesa together at one time. Feldergriff and Marchesa are both decks that I had commanders for, or I had decks for at one point during my past Magic career, and like tore them apart because there's something about them like something about the deck just wasn't working for me. The Marchesa one was like a really like pillow 40, you know, kind of like what everyone does with Marchesa, and it wasn't sparking joy, so I tore it apart like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a Marchesa deck that I really like. But like, you know, like the commanders have stuck with me. Like Feldergriff has always been something. So like, you know, things that have kind of appeared naturally because I'm like following interest. And now I'm down to like the last few feel almost like checking off boxes where I'm just trying to get myself excited about Naya, Temur, or Jeskai. And I'm just not. I don't like any of the commanders.
Yeah,
I really
and
don't.
Mardu are hard for
And then
me,
it's
or
like,
have been
and then it's like, even when I do like the commanders, I'm almost limited by the other decks I've already made. It gets harder when you get down to those last few because I'm like, well, there are some things I like about Jeskai, but I don't think that a lot of the Jeskai or Temur decks that I would naturally make or gravitate towards are going to be different enough play patterns or archetypes to justify their existence in my, roster compared to like, where I'm like sitting on these decks, I'm like, why don't I just play Sauron? Why don't I just play...
Exactly.
I'm honestly running into that problem with Sauron and Sharam right now, although we have to keep Sauron, the Lord of the Rings, the guy in the box. So I'll probably alter him a bit to maybe be a little bit more focused on that goblins and orcs theme. But
I was kind of thinking, like, because with Jeskai, I think obviously artifacts is one of the big ones, and what are you gonna? You're not gonna.
It's like I got an artifact deck already.
And then with Temur or Naya, I think Stompy, and when I think of your Stompy decks, I think of
Sauron.
Sauron, yeah.
Sauron's like the stompiest stompy deck. And now I just made another stompy deck. I made Dungeons and Dragons. That deck is like it is a stompy deck that is using initiative, and honestly that deck is like kind of the like weird love child of my like deck building philosophies between Marchesa and Sharam, where it's like kind of this like loose collection of like reanimatable powerful cards that is then also being propped up by like a repeatable very hard to interact with value engine. So yeah, so like Naya, so when I'm getting down to Naya, it's like, well, the Naya commander has to be something I like, but also I would prefer it to be aggro because I don't actually have that many aggro decks, and like it's just because like a whole thing of like trying to find out what it's doing.
Our problem is we're seeking inspiration and we want it to feel different than the things we've already been inspired by.
Yeah, I think exactly that, and I think that's your problem with Jund, and honestly kind of my problem with Jund too, because I have a lot of Golgari. I have a lot of experience with Golgari, Rakdos, and like kind of like the Jund, like the closest wedges to Jund. Like I think Mardu is pretty close to Jund, which makes sense that you're also struggling with Mardu. I think Sultai can be pretty close to Jund as well. Which actually you have a lot of experience with Sultai, so that actually makes a lot of sense to me why you're struggling to find inspiration with Mardu and Jund, because I think that there's a lot of overlap in like what those decks tend to care about and what archetypes they tend to fall into. So if you want something new, then it's hard. Because like, let's be real, I really feel like Indominus Rex could have been a Mardu card. I don't think that there's anything in that text box that like Mardu wouldn't care about, right?
She could have been.
It wouldn't make sense flavor-wise.
White, right? No, the card itself, the card mechanic.
White cares about keywords, ability keywords. That is a very white thing.
Yeah, definitely. The card text could have been a Mardu card.
That's all I'm saying is the card text.
Yeah, I don't know how.
No, not the character. It would have to be a different character. Yeah, flavor-wise, it makes sense she's Sultai, but all I'm saying is that text box could be on a Mardu card.
Absolutely.
She could be Zergo anamorphs into a dragon or something. I don't know.
Tangentially, I'm kind of thinking about maybe trying to build a deck off of that one Arena original dinosaur guy from...
Oh, hell yeah!
The
one
stuff.
That, like, what is his name? Sagan? Raider Warlord? Yeah, oh my god, I got it in one! Nice. Carl Sagan. Raider Warlord. There's nothing about this card...
Right.
That...
You could just print it.
There's nothing about this card that prints...
It doesn't say... Seek, it doesn't say manifest.
Yeah.
Or not manifest, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It literally doesn't. I think that's cool, especially because it's like another dinosaur that it cares about the one keyword that Indominus Rex cannot have. I think what's really funny, this is the only time I'll indulge you slightly in the hybrid discords thing, is that I think it's really funny that as it stands, if the hybrid change happened, you still would not get access to Double Strike.
Gee, thanks. Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't. There is still not.
You are Tantalus.
Green, black, or blue creature that is
or colorless,
white or red that has Double Strike that I could play. Even if that changed, I could still not have Double Strike on the Indominus Rex as an ability counter.
Yeah, you are Tantalus standing in the pool. The the sprig with the grapes just tantalizingly out of reach.
Just give me one, Watsy, please. I'll stop asking.
My call is that it's going to be a callback to Spirit of the Night, or it's going to be a random colorless duder that's like a 3-mana 1/1 mirror with Double Strike.
Yeah, and I won't
guarantee you it's going to be like a 3-mana 1/1 mirror with Double Strike. And you're going to play it because you really want Double Strike.
I'm not going to play it if it's just a bad creature, because that goes against the principle of the deck. We don't play bad creatures in Indominus.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway,
Tevel.
Tevel, yeah.
So I reworked Teval. I think I was talking about this a little bit last time of how the updated clarification to the brackets makes it very clear that bracket 3, you are not intended to be chaining extra turn spells, even if you are only doing it for extra combats. That's just something that they do not want you to do. And like, I'm good with keeping to that. I thought the extra combats idea was interesting. It was feeling like a little clunky, like it definitely needed some type of reworking, if I was going to stick to it. But I took that as my cue to, move to greener pastures with the deck. And it's been kind of a nightmare. I think Teval is definitely now my most difficult commander because it's the one that anyone who listened to season 1 of the podcast knows how long I've been working on a Teval deck. Because this commander is really tricky to build if you want to avoid doing the thing that she really, really, really wants you to do and build fucking Storm. This commander really wants you to play Storm. She begs you to play Storm, and I do not want to play Storm, so I'm not building her as a Storm commander. She really wants to be like a bracket 4, Storm, or discounting huge spells and killing people with a Torment of Hailfire for X equals 30, or however much your life total can. She just encourages play patterns that I don't personally like making people sit and experience at my tables. So instead I decided to go with a play pattern that people also hate, but that I enjoy enough to get through it, which is tutoring 8 million fucking times, because the updated bracket system now does not specify how many tutors your deck is allowed to run. It just puts the really good ones on the game changer list. And I'm okay with that.
Shuffle her deck.
I love shuffling my deck. Shadow Money Wizard Gang. We love shuffling our deck. So I've got this Teval deck, and it is called Lotus Light Turbo, because the deck is built around... Wait, where the fuck did this deck go? Hold on.
It's gone.
Did I put it in? No. It's here. Oh, it's in progress. Okay. I'm just opening it in Moxfield. So this deck is built around 3 to 4. One of them is, I would say, 3.5 overlapping and interacting tutor packages. So the first one, and the one that was kind of the spark of the idea, is how fucked up can we make Lotus Light Mystics? This card is really cool. Sorry, Lotus Light Dancers, not Mystics. This card is really cool. It is a 5-mana zombie bard, 3 power, 6 toughness, lifelink, and says, when this creature enters, search your library for a black card, a green card, and a blue card. Put those cards into your graveyard, then shuffle. So I'm like, all right, what type of insane toolbox can we build around it? So here's a fun fact, viewers. There is exactly one single target reanimate spell in the game that is that has green in its color identity and has flashback. Card is, oh, I forget the name of it. It's cool though. It's really cool. It is Diregraph Rebirth. And wow, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, I did not respect your game like this. It is 3 black-green sorcery. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn, which should give us a nice discount on it most of the time. To be honest, we don't care about that part as much. We're not going out of our way to enable it. But it'll be nice when we get 1 or 2 mana off this thing. It just returns target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So,
in your defense, I don't think anyone respected Innistrad, Midnight, or Crimson.
Yeah, that's fair. So our main win con in this deck, the main thing that we're building towards, because it is largely a control deck, where the main plan A finisher is using Lotus Light Mystics to drop Diregraph Rebirth. And we need Tebal for this because Tebal massively discounts these cards, and this is a very expensive combo otherwise. So using Lotus Light Mystics to tutor up Diregraph Rebirth, some large black sorcery or instance, which is usually going to be Breach the Multiverse or Afterlife of the Loam, but can also be Grave Endeavor, which are all kind of variants on reanimate a big thing from someone's graveyard plus extra. So like Afterlife gets you a card from each graveyard. Breach the Multiverse is Breach the Multiverse. I think we all know what this one does. AKA it slows down the stream game by 10 minutes. I'm not so... Anyway. Grave Endeavor is very cool. It lets you return a creature card from from your graveyard to the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters equal to a d10 that you roll, and then drains each opponent for life equal to a second d10. And you get to roll it with advantage, basically. So you get to roll both d10s at once and then choose which is which. So some really cool finishing options. And then to bring that back, we have our Scholar of the Lost Trove. So another Sphinx, which I love Sphinxes, so I love this. She is a 5/5 for 7 blue flying Sphinx. And when she enters, you can cast target instant, sorcery, or artifact card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If an instant or sorcery spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. And we are going to be using that to cast our Breach the Multiverse. On top of that, now in addition, so we have some backup options. I'm not going to go over all of them because we don't have time, but like one of the backup things that we can do is we can, instead for our black card, we can tutor up Dread Return, which is essentially a free reanimator spell if we have 3 creatures to sacrifice. And then for our green option, we have Turn Timber Symbiosis as our like large green card that we can cast off of Scholar of the Lost Trove. But there's a lot that you can do with this combo. I mean, you can use it to find like toolbox pieces. You can use it to find our second interlapping or overlapping tutor package, which is Mystical Teachings. Mystical Teachings is a blue instant that says search your library for an instant card or a card with flash, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle, and it has flashback for 5 and a black. So we have an entire package of instants, and I believe only 1 card with flash, which is an Amphibian Downpour, which is the storm aura that turns creatures into frogs.
She is playing a storm deck. Get her!
It's a storm board wave. It's not that bad. So this is one of our options as a like tutor package as well, and obviously it interacts with the dancers because we can tutor the Mystical Teachings to the yard to tutor up an instant or creature with flash if we need to. So we can tutor into a tutor, which is like my favorite line of play that I think everyone who is not me at the table just hates.
Yeah, everyone loves to watch you tutor into a pitch to the graveyard, into a reanimate, into a cast Breach the Multiverse.
Look, I love taking some really long walks through some really short drinks of water, okay? The third tutor package that we have in here is the one that I'm probably the most excited about. I mean, okay, I'm most excited about Lotus Light Dancers because that card is just sick. But this is also one that I like that came out, and I think everyone ignored it, and I've been really wanting to use it somewhere. And that is Micromancer, which is essentially a trinket mage for instants and sorceries. So it's a hill giant. It's a 3/3 for 4, and when it enters, you can search your library for an instant sorcery with mana value 1, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So X spells have mana value 1 if they only have one other, if they only have like one other pip. So I've got a good toolbox of X spells here. I've got some 1 mana protection cards such as Essence Flux. I've got some cards that are both because I've also got like, like Smuggler's Surprise that is not an X spell in the traditional sense, but has spree. So it does kind of have like a fixed kickerish effect where you can add on things to it, but its CMC is 1.
It has a coupon. slapped on.
A Tebal coupon. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The nice thing about about like stuff like Spree and Kicker is that they don't lose you extra life with Tebal. Unfortunately, X spells are going to lose you, the amount of life you pay into X plus their mana value. But that's okay. A lot of these X spells either are just value or won't be cast for like a large amount of X anyway. So this is basically just a toolbox. I really like Erebos' intervention because it's an instant X and a black, and it either target creature gets -X until end of turn, and you gain X life. So it does kind of have a coupon on that side. Where you're only going to lose 1 life to this, or you might even gain life if you don't have Tebal out. So it's like a neat piece of like tutorable removal that also says the other mode that you can choose is exile up to twice X target cards from graveyards. So you can really snipe out some people's graveyards if they're trying to do graveyard shenanigans. And you can do it at instant speed. So this is like a really nice little multi-purpose Swiss Army knife / silver bullet to have in the deck. I really like it. I like this Micromancer package. And of course, that half is the fact that Green Sun Zenith is 1 mana value. So that's here. It's mostly only here to find me Lotus Light Dancers. It doesn't really have many other good targets. I think it's other...
Into a triple tutor.
I think the really good targets for Green Sun Zenith in this deck are going to be Lotus Light Dancers, Seed Ship Broodtender, which is a 2 mana 2/3 when it enters mill 3, and then you can pay 3 black, green, and sack it to reanimate a creature or spacecraft, but this deck doesn't have any spacecraft. At sorcery speed. So like getting to Green Sun Zenith into a reanimation spell isn't the worst, but like it's not as flashy, obviously. And then Tebal the Balance Scale, which is here because I own a copy and it's the other version of Tebal and it's really, really good. And it also plays really well with Dread Return. So yeah, this deck is it plays well with let's be honest, it plays well with itself. Yeah. It is literally a kitchen sink of a card. But yeah, so this deck is just one of my favorite things to do with decks, which is a bunch of overlapping synergistic tutor packages in a trench coat. And they kind of all are there for like mystical teachings, and Micromancer are largely here as kind of like extenders to kind of tutor you into the stuff you need to progress your game plan and or tutor you into the responses you need to find to play a very interaction heavy game. Whereas the Lotus Light Dancers then is more of that like slamming the door shut button. Mm-hmm. Although it can also tutor up Moment's Peace to your graveyard, which is super nice if you're incurring some hate at the table.
I am intellectually enthralled with this deck. I am excited in concept to play against it. We will see if that joy holds for experiencing it across the table.
I believe that when I play this deck, the other good thing about this deck is, unlike most of my decks, I have this one very, very extensively tagged on Moxfield. So it tells me everything from black that I want to... So I have 3 different tags for Lotus Light Black, Lotus Light Blue, and Lotus Light Green. So I can see every single card that I might want to tutor. Mm-hmm. And I also have like my teachings package is tagged and my Micromancer package is tagged.
We have a flow chart.
And it's not tagged necessarily by like everything that they can tutor so much as it is tagged by everything that I could realistically see myself tutoring, mm-hmm. which is still most things. One other card that I forgot to mention that I do want to mention because it's hilarious is I looked at 0 Point Ballads being an X and 1 spell, and I looked at the text on this card that says you lose X life, which if you have Tebal out is double X life.
Sure is.
And I went, if I die, I die. It's a board wipe that's tutorable with Micromancer, and threw it in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's also a beneficial board wipe, because isn't it like also a reanimator button if you...
Yeah, if X is 6 or more. So if we're losing 13 or more life off this card, we get a creature card from our graveyard back to the battlefield. That was put into... Return a creature card put into a graveyard this way, so it doesn't have to be your own creature. It can be any creature onto the battlefield under your control.
That's cool.
Yeah. Or, you can just reanimate your Grey Merchant of Asphodel and gain all that life back.
Right. Yeah, your 6 life back.
I mean, you're assuming I don't have enchantments.
Oh, I am assuming you don't have enchantments. You likely have enchantments.
I do have some enchantments in this deck. I have like a few. Actually, I don't have that many enchantments. You're probably right most of the time. But let's see. There's one other thing that I wanted to touch on with this deck. Oh, and then the Voltron package is still here, but in a decreased capacity from where that was kind of front and center in the extra combats Teval. Now it is basically like, well, we built a control deck, and Teval is a 6/6 flying lifelink creature. Like, that's a control win con. So we can make her more lethal. Two of my mana dorks, no, actually, sorry, only one of my mana dorks in this deck, because I don't run that many mana dorks. I mostly run ramp. But two of my mana dorks in this deck, sorry, one, I just said that. One of my mana dorks in this deck is Animal Attendant, who makes Teval into a 7/7. So that puts her up to like the commander 3-hit. I've also got Essence Flux and Slip Out the Back, which are going to do pretty much the same thing. I realize I didn't put Slip Out the Back on that tag, which I need to do. So Essence Flux and Slip Out the Back are going to also give her a +1/+1 counter, which is very, very good for us.
She essence on my Flux till I slip out the back.
Sure.
Sorry.
Because because she'll be a 7/7. I've also got Lassied Prowler and Will of the Sultai here to just dump a lot of counters straight on her and make her very large. And I've even been able to keep some of the Dreams of Extra Combats alive because they printed a colorless extra combat spell in Final Fantasy, Genji Glove, that I didn't include. That is what it's called.
Oh, it is what
Genji
it's
Glove.
Well,
no,
right.
What I missaid it as Gojo Gauntlet.
That's what it was. Okay.
Which I think I got from bastardizing Goro and Satoru for some reason.
Gojo Gauntlet.
Satoru Gojo Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Nah, I'd win. He is kind of doing the nah, I'd win pose, actually, now that I look at the Genji Glove. The guy, whoever the fuck that guy is, some Final Fantasy fan is gonna come beat me up for not knowing who the fuck this guy is doing the nah, I'd win pose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is an equipment that gives you double strike and extra combats, which basically means quadruple strike. Very cool. Very cool. Definitely can't wait to just take someone out with my just obliterate someone from the face of the earth with my commander with this card. And we got Super State here, because Super State is also pretty freaking good. Colorless enchantment, so can probably be free with Teval. Enchant creature you control, gives them base power and toughness 9/9, and flying first strike, trample, and haste. And whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. So you're gaining a fuck ton of life off this.
Sure are.
And you can just cast it, like, you can cast Teval, exile 7 cards from your graveyard, cast this for free, move to combat, responses.
Gain 21.
Gain 21. Nice game. Nice game, Bozo.
21? What am I talking about? What's 9 times 3?
9, 18, 27.
27. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, so, fun deck. I think I've yapped about it just about enough. But I'm still putting the cards together for it, but like the first version is ready to go, so I'm very excited to see where this deck ends up.
Coming to a misunderstood pre-game discussion near you. All right. Next up, we want to talk about, we kind of buried the lead a little bit with this when we talked about Jund, but the idea of benchwarmers. I don't know, I think the concept of things that you theoretically want to be able to do with decks, ideas you've had, but the actual deck has not manifested in a way for you significantly to play. An example, Jund. I don't have a Jund deck. I've been trying to have a Jund deck. It just hasn't formed in a way that satisfies me. But something else maybe a bit more broad for me is Spellslingers. I don't understand how to build a spell slinger deck. I think I want to. Maybe it's not that I don't understand it. I haven't found a way to build a spell slinger deck that satisfies me in any interesting way. I keep finding combinations of individual cards that I'm like, oh, this would be cool and fun, and I would put it in the spell slinger deck. This is where I'd put my spell slinger deck if I had one. So, yeah. Do you have any examples of things that are just sitting on the bench waiting for the day that they see a 99?
I have so many examples of this. I have two kind of like larger deck examples of this, of like deck concepts that interest me innately, but that I can't either. There isn't a commander that I find interesting for these decks, or like the card quality or quantity of cards for the theme is not where I would like it to ideally be for like the version that I would like to build. For example, one of the decks that I would really like to build would be a domain deck. And I would love if I could build a domain deck that is not a 5-color deck. But the payoffs for like cards that actually have domain on them is actually a lot lower than you would expect, and there's not a ton of good ones. It's like Scion of Draco and like
a handful.
I don't know. There's Sphinx of Clear Skies that if it's max domain is basically casting Fact or Fiction for you every time it connects or attack. I think it's when it attacks actually. So like that's a really cool card. And like I would love to do like a Teamer domain deck, but the fact that you have to run so many kind of like dud cards that make or like the fact that you basically have to run like a limited amount of cards that either make or break your deck and also can't be your commander. Like if there was a commander that basically had like Dryad of the Elysian Groves text on it, I would be playing that instantly. But that just doesn't exist. I think we've already gone over that. I just don't find like Teamer commanders all that interesting. There's not really one that like does anything that's interesting with domains, so you'd have to add like a sub-theme. And you'd basically have to build your deck to always have some way to get like Prismatic Omen or Dryad of the Elysian Grove or the Overlord of the Hauntwoods that makes the Everywhere token to like have your deck working at full capacity. So it's like the payoff is kind of low, and then like the actual chance of getting to the payoff is very inconsistent. So that one's like on the shelf. The other one is Typle. There are actually a lot less changelings than people I think assume that there are, and there are a lot less good changelings as well. And Typle is usually an archetype that works better. This is for those who don't know, this is a archetype where essentially you run enough effects and cards that basically allow your creature, like enough overlapping creature types that you can afford to run very powerful lords for very narrow creature types. Like there are some really powerful lords for, say, like there is a lord that gives all your illusions hexproof that costs 2 mana. But illusions is like not a Typle deck. But, if your commanders say Orvar or Mistform Ultimus, you can absolutely run that thing. But I don't want to run Orvar or Mistform Ultimus. And those are currently like kind of the two best commanders for this, where you basically make the deck like kind of Voltron, where it's just building off of like board presence Voltron, where it's just building up your commander with all these like various Typle spells. But I like Typle because I think it's like it's a really interesting idea to kind of take this thing that cares about this narrow subset of cards and kind of force it to interact with cards it doesn't play well with. I think it's like really interesting design space, but I'm either it's like not there in the form that I think it is in my head, or I'm just like not smart enough to build it there, or not dedicated enough to build it there right now. So that one is also on the bench.
I like Typle. I think the one example that I really have of this is I have a list, an Edward Kenway list, a Grixis. It's Grixis. Grixis Typle. That's a way to describe it. Because Edward cares about pirates and vehicles and an assassin. And so the deck has pirates and assassins. And from there we extended out to the party mechanic and also outlaws. And we also found room for wizards. So it's a wizard, outlaw, pirate, assassin party deck.
Honestly, that's an angle that I hadn't considered, is just like still focusing on typal synergies, but instead of going with kind of this changeling route, just focusing on like a wider swath of typal synergies. Than like usually decks are either if they're typal decks, they're like monotypal or like maybe dual typal. Like you can do like I don't know, like a merfolk rogue deck or like a fairy rogue deck, right? Mm-hmm. But like the idea of expanding that out to include more types, I think, is really interesting, and looping in both the outlaw and party mechanic is very cool. So I might have to give that one another look.
It's cool to like focus on the assassin part and like where do things overlap in ways that we can pull a couple cards from both of these really limited to one set. Like, I guess party's not just one set, but still. But these smaller scope mini mechanics that care about types and like where can we find the connecting lines.
Off the top of my head, I wonder if like ninjas, rogues, and assassins all together.
I have a feeling that those would all fit pretty well.
A lot of rogues are very evasive.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe add in like a I don't know, like a wild card one, like warriors or clerics or something. I don't know. It's something to think about.
We're likely to get a lot of ninja support in a couple months anyway.
Oh. Yeah, for a minute I was like, return to Kamigawa, and I remember,
return to New York City.
They better have Pizza Rat.
I'm sure they'll have Pizza Rat. There will be pizza and a rat, I can guarantee that much.
Yeah. Do you have any other bench warmers before I go into my last two?
I don't know. The Spellslingers was the only one that I had written down, and I think my big problem, just like with Jund, my big problem is I am looking for some kind of niche thing to latch onto to be inspired by that's not just play creature, sacrifice creature, draw card, hey Macarena. With Spellslingers, I can't find a way to build these kind of decks that doesn't feel like insufferable solitaire simulator.
I understand. I think that the like, I have thoughts on spell slinging decks, but I can't. I'm not sure if they're cohesive at the moment.
Maybe we'll come back to them. Yeah,
maybe we'll come back to it.
We're not trying to solve these problems. We're just acknowledging that we have these problems.
Well, I guess when I first pitched this, so I'll ask you this question a different way, because my last two examples fit more into this category. So I'll ask you this question another way. Are there any, because I had initially concepted this topic to focus more on individual cards than on deck ideas, and then I realized that there were a lot of deck ideas that were also sitting on my bench that were worth talking about. So for individual cards, are there any cards that you really like that either don't seem to fit into the types of decks that you tend to make, or tend to just be like the 101st card out?
Yeah.
Because I think we can all relate with like 101st cards, right?
For sure. One that comes to mind really quickly is Archangel Avacyn. The one that she comes down on 5 with Flash, and she gives all your guys indestructible for a turn. And if a non-human creature you control, not a human, I don't know.
I think it's a human.
I think if it's scroll up. If a non-angel, that's what it is. That makes sense. A non-angel creature you control dies, transform her from a 4/4 with flying and vigilance into a 6/5 with flying. That when she transforms, Anger of the Gods is the board. She deals 3 to all creatures that and opponents that are not her. So like she's a protection on one side, but that you can. Yeah, she's a protection spell on one side.
I love that Avacyn so much.
And I feel like she's the like poster girl of my Mardu deck that doesn't exist. Because she would go great with the sacrifice effects that go in those colors, and I think that having a 4th protection spell that transforms into a 4th white spell is sick as hell. I just don't have a deck that wants her, because I don't have a lot of white and red decks. My Naya decks don't really want this effect.
Yeah. And like that's kind of the issue I think with this idea of like bespoke deck building that we both lean into, is like we're like kind of juicing, we're kind of getting like all the play that we can out of this idea of like bracket 3, where it's like not optimized like bracket 4, which means that, you know, the general game plans and like the cards used to achieve those game plans are usually a little bit less than optimal. But like I could look through a lot of my decks and like every card has a job. There aren't like a lot of cards that I'm playing. There are some, like Marchesa is a big exception to that, I think, where that's basically just Mardu, interchangeable Mardu cards that I like. But like a lot of my decks, like the cards that are there for like specific purposes, to support specific themes, to like support specific sub themes, which doesn't leave like a whole lot of room for like these kind of cards where it's just like, this is good. This is like a role filler, but like if it doesn't care about anything that the decks you're building care about, then it doesn't really matter, because I think both of us require the cards in our decks to care about the same things that we care about usually.
Right. If it doesn't fit into one of the webs, then it's discarded.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I don't play things like Path to Exile, because like I don't play any cards that care about a 1-mana instant that exiles something. I'll play...
Just run a Micromancer. Gotta run a Micromancer package.
Right, of course. I'm playing a 1-mana instant. Well, I need to care about my 1-mana instant, so I guess I better run Micromancer. But yeah, I'll play a Get Lost before I'll play Path to Exile 10 out of 10 times, historically.
Agreed. It hits more things, more versatile. I like that about that. So my first one for this was I think this fits more into the cast of the second card that I had written down here, which is Somnophore. I love Somnophore. So my love of this little guy, if you don't know what Somnophore is, you should. He is a goofy little goober who is he is an illusion. I feel like he is based at least slightly off of the same source material. I'm forgetting the name of the creature, but the Japanese yokai that Drowsy and Hypno from Pokemon are based off of, where it's like a I don't remember the name of it. Baku, maybe? Like a Baku something or another.
Editor Light, do research and put a pronunciation here.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Recording Light. You're not even wearing the right pronoun badge. Hold on a second. Okay. Baku are Japanese supernatural beings. I'm reading this off the wiki page, so if it's wrong, then kill the last person to edit it. That are said to devour nightmares. They originate from the Chinese Mo. I would assume that's how you say that. According to legend, they were created by the spare pieces that were left over when the gods finished creating all of the other animals. They have a long history in Japanese folklore and art, and more recently have appeared in manga and anime. The Japanese term Baku has two current meanings, referring to both the traditional dream-devouring creature and to the Malayan? It's one of those two, tapir. In recent years, there have been changes in how the Baku is depicted, and I think that you're just going to have to go read about those changes yourself if you want to know.
But it's like a little guy that is floating and feeding on your dreams. And card form, this is represented by, he has flying, he is a 2/2 for 4. He is from Urza's, what is that? The 2 gears, is that Urza's Legacy?
Is it Somnophore? This is from Urza's Saga.
Urza's Saga. So he has flying, he's a 2/2, he's very, very old, and his stats reflect that. 2/2 flyer for 4 is, we're already off to a rough start. When he deals combat damage to a player, tap target creature that player controls. That creature does not untap during its controller's untap phase for as long as Somnophore remains in play. So he can, if he does not get removed from the board, he can very quickly start to lock out your opponent's creatures. So like he's really good if your opponent is relying on like 1 or 2 very large creatures. That being said, like this is kind of just like, I don't even know if I would say this is a good card. This is kind of just like a mid card. like maybe if you have a deck that cares super much about flyers or super much about tapping down creatures, like we've gotten a bit of support for like stun counter support or like tapping creatures support. Or, like a deck that, I don't know, like a deck that is like some bracket 2 illusion type deck, like sure. But he's just like never really fit super well into any of my decks. He was actually in the last version of Teval, but got, because like extra combats, so you get extra triggers with him. I think they only wear that. The only place that I can, like, really off the top of my head think that he would naturally slot into would be the one...
Hilda of the Extra
Oh, no, I was going to say, that's actually a good call, too. I was going to say Felix 5 Boots.
Oh, yeah.
Doubling up Panharmonicon for combat damage triggers. But I already have a Sultai commander, so, like, this is never going to happen unless I get rid of Teval, which I'm probably not going to do. Although, if I was going to get rid of Teval, the Ooze wearing Felix 5 Boots would be very high up on the list of
he feels like your brand of silly guy.
But, I believe Quinn has a Felix 5 Boots deck, so maybe I just need to petition Quinn to include this in Fair deck.
Quinn, we bequeath you Heroes of Lorbo.
I know Benoit has like a love of this card as well. He pulled it out in a game recently that we played. I don't remember what deck he was running it in though.
I don't remember either, but I do remember it hitting the battlefield.
Because I was very excited about it. Oh, yeah. So the reason why I love this guy so much, besides him being a little blurbo, is that he was featured in the Magic Gathering manga, Destroy All Humans, They Can't Be Regenerated. And he has really cool art there. And he's basically, he was, according to that manga, which is usually fairly historically accurate to the eras of the card game, to the eras of Magic it's portraying. In terms of like what decks and strategies are being used. He was very, very good in Limited, which I definitely believe for Limited of that era.
Yeah.
I think that the ability to block flyers back then was a lot lower, and I think that a lot of Limited games tend to look like protecting or removing a threat and trying to like kind of force through like a threat. So like having a card that just like blocks things down while also hitting your opponent in the air is pretty good. But yeah, in Commander, I just have never found a space for him because ultimately like the things that he cares about are not things that I have decks that really care about. So like if you're just judging him on the merits of the role that he plays in a vacuum, he's a 4-mana 2/2 with no protection.
Yep.
So, like, it's kind of hard to justify his inclusion.
He's a 4-mana 2/2 with an effect that makes people want to kill him.
But he's, like, so cool. Look at him. Look at the art for this card and tell me that this isn't, like, some Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, some one-off Yu-Gi-Oh! Villain's ace monster. Like, he literally has the vibe of, like, some one-off fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Villain's, like, ace card. And I love that vibe. And I love him. And if I were, like, in the, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering crossover universe, this would be my guy. This would be my Dark Magician. He's so cool. He's just a little guy. He also has a passing resemblance to a cursed spirit from the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, although it's not quite as much of one as he does to like the Pokemon
Baku.
But they're all kind of drawn from the same idea of like this like floating spirit that eats your dreams. Yeah, hypnotism yokai. I don't know. I'm running out of things to say about him, but he's cool and I love him so much.
That's okay.
And then my other one is Hellkite Igniter.
John Hellkite Igniter, the guy who kills you.
So, like, this one kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier with Jeskai. Because, like, this card I've been trying to make fit into Jeskai. Because I think if there's a home for it, it's Jeskai. I'm looking it up.
Flyers and hearing my artifacts, and if you twist it hard enough, it can care about dragons.
But like, this card is another victim of Sharam's success. Of like, I don't I could build another artifacts deck, but the type of artifacts deck that I'm going to build is going to be very limited by the fact that I don't want to retread on the ground that Sharam is on.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think that this card, it's a 5/5 flying haste dragon for 7. And it has 1 in a red. It gets +X+O until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control. So I think this card is fine. But I think it's on like that, like, I don't know what I would call it, like Frost Titan tier of card that like definitely can still do a lot of work, but often finds itself being that kind of 101st card that's being, you know, the card you cut from the precon. You know, this thing's been in a fair few precons.
It's being
like the card you cut. It's like it's Zatalpa tier. It's Zatalpa tier, right? Where like every so often someone casts this card and you get completely got by it and you go, I didn't know you had game like that. Like that like I think it was Benoit again. Like stole someone's Zatalpa or like had a Zatalpa out. Maybe I'm I the more that I think about it, the more I think I might be remembering a game I watched instead of one that we played.
Cast as Zatalpa.
I don't know, but it was like something, you know, with like one of those like Toughness Matters cards.
That sounds correct. Oh, yeah, no, I think he did land.
No, was this a game?
In Felithar.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he was playing Felithar. For some reason, I got that mixed up with like, was this a game that I played or a game that I watched a recap of on YouTube?
No, it was Will. Will was playing the Felithar deck.
Yes, no, you're right. Will was playing the Felithar deck. He had a Zatalpa. The Zatalpa was hitting for 16 damage. And you go, damn, Zatalpa got wings.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, like when that card hits, it hits. So this thing is kind of similar to that. I've put it in a few deck concepts. It's never quite worked out. I do think that there's some angle to explore like a different type of artifact deck if I focus more heavily on artifact tokens, which is something that Sharam can produce in somewhat large quantities, but like is not focused on.
To officially apologize.
Like Sharam has like 3 cards that make artifact tokens.
I just realized that I don't have Zatalpa in my Ellie Allen deck. I failed.
No.
I'll fix this. That makes sense though.
Yeah, that card's actually pretty good there. Looking at this card again, it makes me really want to go back to the idea that I think I posed to you a million years ago, like very soon after we first met, which was the idea of doing Zerta the Dawnwaker fire breathing.
Mm-hmm. I remember this.
And what if that idea coincided with things that made... See, the problem is I don't know how many things have activated abilities that make treasure tokens, but maybe we just build it as Zerta is the commander and we don't worry about all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Much to think about.
Much to think about.
Much to consider. Maybe there's some room to do some interesting things there.
I could probably put Hellkite Igniter in my my Intrepid list.
Intrepid list?
Yeah, Intrepid. What's it called?
This isn't ringing the bell for me at all.
Intrepid flagship. What's it called? In Spirit. That's
In Spirit. In Spirit. Yeah.
Flagship vessel.
You need to pull the In Spirit deck out again. That deck is very bespoke.
I do need to pull that deck out again. You know what? It's got a theme of like trying to be loosely based on like Helldiver and 40k vibes. However, if I were to put it in paper, I could simply paint a Dragon Helldiver's helmet on the Hellkite Igniter, and then it would fit in the theme.
True.
And then it would be John Hellkite Igniter. Perfect.
I'm now plotting and scheming what types of things would be interesting to do with Zerta Dawnwaker. I don't know. I have no idea.
Companion Zakama, ZZ Tap.
Yeah. Except I don't like building decks that my friends already have, so I will probably never build Zakama.
That's true.
I don't know. I'll think about it. Much to consider. I like the interlap of like treasures and clues, because Zerta's cool with clues too. Treasures and clues and things that make them, and maybe also a big flying dragon.
You kind of deserve a Fox Commander deck. I would think.
I do kind of deserve a Fox Commander deck. That has been my draw to Zerta, but like, I really love to juice every part of the fucking card, and Zerta is a companion.
Yeah, right.
How would I... Are there enough cards that tap to make... Liberty Prime has an activated ability that sacrifices an artifact.
Much research to do. I've been run over by Liberty Prime so many times in my Magic experience.
Maybe we found the angle. I don't know. That one might be a little too mainstream for me. I don't know. I think much like token decks are wont to do, I'm kind of spinning my wheels at this point. We want to move on to another segment.
We can move on. It's time for another exciting and fan favorite episode of Free Cast Kill. Medusa, are you ready?
Heck yeah! I thought I wrote things here, but I guess I didn't.
Oh well, I have. I have two ready. Would you like me to give you my first one?
Heck yeah!
All right, as a reminder, gamers, this is Free Cast Kill. You probably played it by a different name. We're going to present 3 Magic the Gathering monster cards. You're going to have to choose one. Medusa's going to have to choose one that she would get her freak on with, one that she would cast, and one that she would kill. So let's get to it.
Fun.
Your first 3 are Mothra, Supersonic Queen, Rodan, Titan of Winged Fury, and Space Godzilla, Death Corona, which is technically not his name anymore, but I always find it very funny that they had to change it.
What did they change it to?
Space Godzilla. It's still listed as Death Corona on Scryfall.
I think it is still that.
What is
it not?
It's not. It's not anymore. The printing, they didn't make printings of that.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I can't find it. Scryfall doesn't have it. I'll figure it out.
Well, all right. Kill that thing because it's confusing me. I mean, what is the Rodan that you want me to... Okay, Rodan Titan of Winged Fury, which is a reskin of Vadrock.
Mm-hmm.
Cast this, because it lets me cast other... Wait. Cast it, and then cast it for its mutate cost. How about that?
That works.
And then, I mean, Mothra, obviously.
Understood. Looks like Void Invader?
Obviously. It confuses me, so it's dead now.
All right.
Also, Space Godzilla sucks. He beats up on like baby Godzilla in the movie. He literally beats up a defenseless child in the movie. It's terrible.
What a villain.
Yeah, he sucks. He's the worst.
And now he's
dead. Screw him.
All right, your turn. Well, no, screw Mothra. That's what we decided.
Yeah, screw Mothra. I mean, alright. I guess I'll go with, Furry Edition. Let's do Hazaret the Fervent. Miri the Cursed. I feel like that one's way more monstrous. And I'll give you a duo, Fire Song and Sunspeaker.
Oh my god.
Do you know Fire Song and Sunspeaker?
Hard for me. Yeah, I know Fire Song.
The Minotaur Clerics. I think they're a brother and sister.
Ugh.
I don't know. They're big cow people is what. They're burly cow clerics.
We're gonna take the moral high ground and kill Miri the Cursed. We're gonna cast Hazaret.
But she's so hot.
I agree. However, I am freaking with Fire Song and Sunspeaker, and I'm not sorry.
Hey, I gave you the option of 2 for the price of 1.
You did, and I've made my choice for Hazaret the whichever. I don't remember which one the Fervent is.
Hazaret the Fervent. It's the original one. Okay, the one that Terra is standard. I love... My option for Freak would always be Hazaret, but that's a good one to cast.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 2.
I believe it.
Are you ready for noodles?
I'm ready for noodles.
Your options are Belligerent Sliver, Capricious Sliver, and Two-Headed Sliver. And I will type
They all look the fucking same.
You've got to make a choice.
Capricious Sliver... What? Belligerent Sliver? What? This thing doesn't look like a sliver. Fuck it. No, don't, actually. No.
She made a choice.
And Two-Headed Sliver?
Yep.
I mean, I think I'm joining you on going with the 2-for-1 experience. So we'll freak So we'll freak two-headed sliver, we'll kill belligerent sliver, because the thing doesn't look like a fucking sliver. This is like one of those like ones from M15 that look like bionicles. I hate these things. They're not real slivers. You can't convince me they're real slivers. And then we'll cast Capricious Sliver, because this card is actually pretty... I love playing cards from exile.
Hell yeah.
This card is... Timna the Weaver, is that you? Close enough. Welcome back, Timna the
Close
Weaver.
enough, yep.
Or am I also... Oh, I guess I also should
yep.
give you two. Let's see. What's a good theme? I did not prepare this ahead of time. Oh my god, I love that I could just do UB. Wait, that's actually so funny, is I could just do all Universes Beyond cards.
That is funny.
Alright. Oh, I don't remember what her epithet is, but Genova, from Final Fantasy.
Sephiroth's mom, yeah.
Sephiroth's mom has got it going on. Sonic the Hedgehog. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Shadow the Hedgehog. There we go.
Oh, you made it harder.
In what sense?
Third option.
Shadow the Hedgehog and oh god, what's like the worst fucking Universes Beyond card? What's the worst fucking option? No, Krang from TMNT. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Wait, do we have a Krang? We do have a Krang. All right.
We do have a Krang. I was considering him. He like barely misses the cut for Sharam.
All right, we're killing.
He's
Krang.
almost close enough to going into Sharam.
Previously, I was just going to kill Sonic, but now we're killing Krang.
No, it's Shadow. Shadow.
Well, no, I know, but
not
then
Sonic.
You changed the Shadow. I had
yeah.
kill selected. I was going to kill Sonic the Hedgehog, but now we're killing Krang Mastermind. I hate that the master and mind, like the words are separated. It makes me
I
upset.
know.
We are getting our freak on with Genova because, yes, mother. And then we are going to cast Shadow the Hedgehog, and we're going to take the longest bullshit turn with treasures.
Sounds good. Correct options.
Correct options. Sorry, Krang. I don't think there's anything you could have done to save yourself.
No.
That sounds about like a podcast to me. What do you think?
I think that I've been looking at potential Zerta commanders for this entire time that we've been talking about it. And how did I miss out that there's literally one that was printed like directly for him? And oh no, she's kind of hot.
Oh, what is the card?
Dinah here, Invoker Adept.
Yeah,
I do not know what is the lore behind this character. I do not know what her lore is.
Was she from Dungeons and Dragons? I feel like she was a Dungeons and Dragons card, or maybe she was a Master set.
Yeah, she's a Dungeons and Dragons card.
Dinah Air. Yep, she sure is. Yeah, I know nothing about her. Baldur's Gate enjoyers comment, who's Dinah Air?
Who is this person? I don't know. She looks like very full of herself, which, you know, is a bonus for me for sure. Oh, she's one of the like in person along with Minsk and Boo, who I also know like very little about, but that's cool. But yeah, this card was like printed for Zerta, I feel.
I was
also looking at Kaith, Famed Mechanist, which is kind of like going into that territory of like token artifacts. That one's actually also very strongly into token artifacts. So I think that like one of those two could potentially make for a cool card to pair with Zerta.
On my desk in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll get right on it.
All right. Well, short of sitting for you to start building a Jeskai deck here and now, I think we should wrap
Bold
things
of you
up.
to assume I haven't already built it.
It's already done.
I haven't. Not that fast, Chef.
My name is Light, and you can find me on the internet at Indominus Lux in all of the places.
Yeah, my name is the Lovely Medusa, and you can find me wherever the Lovely Medusas are sold.
didn't know that. All right, sounds great. Get out of our house.
Yeah, get out of our house.